I'm given a hyperbola with the focus located at -5 plus the square root of 10 comma -1, and the other focus located at x equals -5 minus the square root of 10 comma -1, and two asymptote equations, y equals 3x plus 14 and the other is y equals -3x minus 16. I'm asked to find the equation of the hyperbola. Now the place to start on a problem like this, step 1, is to write the standard equation for a hyperbola. And we'll start by writing x minus h squared over a squared, then leave a space and write y minus k squared over b squared equals 1. And what you'll notice is missing is the sign, positive and negative signs in front of each of the terms. I am purposely leaving that out because we need to figure out which of the two terms is going to be negative and which one's going to be positive. Now for step 2, it's a good idea to do a rough sketch of what this thing looks like. And for that, I don't want to take up a lot of video time, so I will be back in a twinkle of an eye. I have located the vertex, or the center I should say, HK, off of the location of the origin, because we can tell by the ordered pairs given to us for the focus that it is not living at the origin. It's actually equal to the ordered pair -5 for the x coordinate and -1 for the y coordinate. And my two foci are listed above. This focus has the ordered pair -5 plus the square root of 10 minus 1, and the other one is at x sub 2. Now remember that on a hyperbola, the dotted box is going to pass through the vertices, and the vertices are going to be between the center and the foci. So let's just estimate approximately here for the first vertex, v sub 1, and approximately here for the second vertex, v sub 2. And now we'll draw our dotted box. Okay, now you know that the distance from the center to the vertex is the distance that we call a. So I'll write that here. This is the distance a. That's the number that's being squared under the x term in the equation above in the cloud. And then we also know that the distance on up and down from the center is called the distance b. That's the value being squared under the y term. Now we're going to draw our embedded triangle. We connect these 2 points and these sides. Here's our right triangle. And we have the distance b already labeled, the leg b. And of course this side is the distance a. And then the side on the hypotenuse is actually this distance c. So remember what the distance c is? It's actually the distance from the center to the focus. It's this distance. That's called the distance c. And it's also the hypotenuse of our right triangle. Now we're going to take out our right triangle and see what it looks like when it's not embedded in the graph. And there it is, our right triangle. Now you know, using Pythagoras, we can use that to say that c squared, the hypotenuse squared, equals leg squared plus leg squared. And if necessary, we will use that to get any missing pieces for the equation. Now for the equation, all we need is a and b, because we already know hk. I'm looking up here at the equation. We already know hk, the center. We got that by looking at the symmetry of the location of the foci. It is the ordered pair -5, -1. So all we're missing is the a and the b, and we're actually not going to have to use the right triangle to find that because they gave us interesting information. They gave us the equation of the focus. I'm sorry, the asymptote. So let's look at what that general form of that equation looks like. It's y minus k equals plus or minus b over a times x minus h. I'll put that in the cloud. Now I just put the positive b over a. They gave us two equations. Clearly the one that I'm going to work with the positive b over a, will be the equation y equals 3x plus 14. That was given to us in the beginning. Now I want you to note that we already know the hk values from the sketch. H equals -5, k equals -1. Let's plug those into this equation. If we are able to write our asymptote in this form, y plus 1 equals b over a times x plus 5, we will automatically know the value for b and the value for a, and that's all we're looking for. So let's write the given equation. I'll put this in brackets. That's where we're headed. What we have is y equals 3x plus 14. We're going to rewrite this to get a 1 on the other side. So I'm going to subtract 1 from both sides, and that will give, I'm going to add 1 to both sides. That will give me y plus 1 equals 3x plus 15. And now I want to get a parenthesis on the right side with x plus 5, so I'll factor out the 3. Y plus 1 equals 3 times x plus 5. And now I write 3 as 3 over 1. Y plus 1 equals 3 over 1 times x plus 5. Okay, now I want you to compare these two. I have them both in the same form now, and everything matches up where we can see this is implying to us that the b over a has to be equal to the coefficient on the right side, 3 over 1. And that tells me that a is equal to 1 and b is equal to 3. I could have just as easily done this using the other given asymptote equation, y equals negative 3x minus 16, but in that case I would have used the version of the standard formula for the asymptote as y minus k equals negative b over a parenthesis x minus h. I would have gotten the same results. So now I'm going to conclude by writing my equation of the hyperbola. Okay, so using the equation that we had here at the beginning, this is step 3, by the way. We are going to use x minus a negative 1, which will make it x plus 1. Erase what I just said. The h value is not negative 1, the h value is negative 5. So this is x plus 5, parenthesis squared, over a squared. A is 1, you square it, you get 1. And then, what about the sign? Don't put the sign in yet. Then we have y minus the k value. The k value is negative 1, so it's y plus 1, parenthesis squared, over b squared, so 3 squared, which is 9, equals 1. Now, as far as deciding which is negative, the x term or the y term, look back up at our sketch, and you know that the hyperbola must open passing through the vertices and wrapping around the foci, so it has to open in this direction on both sides. And knowing that tells us which of the terms in the equation is going to be negative. If it opens side by side, side to side, that means the y term is going to be negative. So we put the negative sign here, and the positive sign goes on the x term, so we'll just leave it empty, and then put a box around our answer, and we are finished.